everyone. Today we are here and we're going to be talking about elevating voices and through Black History Month edition. And as we elevate our voices today, let us be reminded to do this every day. Celebrate us every day, and our legacy is rooted in education, empowerment, excellence, and collective progress. So today joining us, we have
Ariel Samuel,
Isis Ravel,
and Michaela Chum.
Do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Yeah, we're all seniors and we are all board members of the BSA.
And I'm your host, Gabrielle Robinson, and I'm president of BSA. So today I'm going to ask you guys a little bit about Black Student Alliance, your experience within Troy School District. So my first question is, for those who don't know, what is Black Student Alliance?
Black Student Alliance is a club, really a community where people of color, people who are not of color, can all come together and share their experiences with just like racism and anything like that, and then we can connect and learn about it, and then we can also go out and reach the community.
Also BSA, recently, like the things that we've been doing recently, we've really been connecting the community together as a school. Like, we've been definitely reaching other demographics of people. I think that's just a really nice thing to be able to get us all together.
and we also make cards every holidays for people in hospitals or children that are in need or anybody in need. And we also make sure that they get what they need for the holidays. So we also attend like charity events and make sure we are always giving out to those in need.
So what impact has BSA had on your school overall?
I honestly just think it's brought everyone together, like especially with all of these like multicultural clubs. Like, they're one of the big things we're always talking about is like, you do not have to be this culture to join. And I think that that's the most important thing. The only way we can learn and grow and become better is by sharing our experiences with one another.
I feel like in BSA we build like a bond. Like, every time we have a meeting, everybody comes in with smiles on their face and everybody talks to everybody, and it's all like a little family.
Yeah, like, it feels like people are just coming to meetings just to experience and have a good time with everybody. Like, besides the food, besides all my friends going, everybody's there to have a good time all together and just meet new people.
So what does celebrating culture mean to you?
Celebrating culture to me means like celebrating whatever your background may be. Like we said, like, BSA is not just for a specific type of Black person. It's for everyone, all different cultures, no matter where you're from, just all celebrating what makes up your background and what makes you unique.
And I think celebrating culture also deals with educating as well, educating about other cultures, learning about each other, and just being able to experience one another's culture really brings us all together as one. And that's what I really enjoy about it.
And I also feel like it's really celebrating like who you are too, and it helps like you find your own identity. So like, you're celebrating your culture, you're figuring out who you are, where you come from, and then you also get to learn about like your peers, like where they're from, where they came from, and like everything else about them. So it builds that bond and you guys become closer, and it's all like a little family.
Do you say that you talk to people and that you meet in BSA like outside of the club alone?
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, definitely.
That's great. So what's one thing Athens currently does that helps your mental health, and what's one thing that you wish that they could do better?
We have counselors that help us with like our mental struggles as well as like our scheduling. Those are the resources that we have. One thing I wish we could improve on is like, when you have to go to the counselor and you ask your teacher, you kind of have to like share your personal business to be able to go. And I think that there should be a way for us to just be able to go and talk when we need it.
I agree. And for like freshmen and those who may have transferred here, I feel like we need more emphasis on like our resources that are actually available, because many students don't know we have the Hawk Nest or like the sensory room, or like you can actually go to the counselors, because some people think you have to like be called down there, and some new kids don't know. So I feel like we should promote it more so more people know about it.
Yeah, I think if we really get it out there that the counselors are willing to help us and willing to get to know us, like for example with my counselor, I started going to her more often. I started talking to me and her like really, really close. We developed a really good bond. And I think other students should be able to do that with their counselors as well.
How do you think that students can become more comfortable like talking to teachers when they have to go to counselors? Like how would you say like that it needs to be improved?
I feel like some teachers, they can come off as like, oh, don't leave the classroom when I'm teaching. Like, don't leave the class, stay in class. You're in class for a reason. So I feel like some students don't feel like they can ask their teachers because they know like they're going to say, no, you can't go. So it's like, I feel like they should be more open to like knowing that people really do struggle with mental health and people really do need to go to the counselor. So if somebody asks, maybe they're not just trying to skip class. Maybe they actually need it and actually want to go like for a good cause.
Yeah, and also I feel as though, because if I'm having a bad day and it's just not going over me, the last thing on my mind is class. I don't know about you guys, but the last thing on my mind is class and schoolwork if I'm like stuck in my head.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't want to have to explain why I have to go all the time.
That makes sense.
I know for me personally, I had a struggle in a class, and which it was a little bad of me, but I just like end up leaving the class, and my teacher didn't say anything because they know that yes, we're supposed to be at school, we're supposed to learn, but sometimes you just have one of those days, and like Ari said, like the thing on your mind is not school, it's just trying to get through the day.
Yeah, I think that's very relatable amongst like the vast demographic of like people in high school, because I know a lot of my friends have said the same thing. Like it's kind of, they feel shame like going up to their teacher in front of the class and be like, hey, I have to go to the counselor. So like knowing that other people feel the same way, like it's good. Like that means there's a step forward and we can like advocate for asking to go see the counselor without, any shame. But so based off of like your experiences in school, if you ever overheard like a hurtful comment, or if a teacher overheard a hurtful comment, what do you expect them to do? And like, how has it been addressed? And what would you want like to be done?
Well, I have experienced like the N-word being said in one of my classes and nothing being done about it. So I feel like when teachers come across like things that happen like that, like with derogatory terms, they like don't really want to get involved in it because they know like, oh, like I'm not that, so it doesn't really affect me. So they don't really know like the pain it causes people and like the effect that has on people. So like they don't really do much. They really ignore it. They push it to the side, but it's like it happens constantly. So it gets to a point where it's like, okay, it's happening every day. Like I don't want to be here no more.
Yeah.
So I feel like teachers need to do better on like addressing the situation and putting it to an end, not just a pause, to an end.
Yeah.
And because I feel like, oops, sorry.
Oh, yeah. Sorry.
I just feel like that when the issues don't get addressed, teachers are creating kind of a basically a safe space for this hate speech to be pretty much promoted, because it continues to happen and it continues to not be dealt with in an adequate manner, which I just think is really unfair.
Yeah.
Also, I know that some teachers don't want to seem like they're the bad guy for taking that one student aside and telling them to stop, but I've had teachers who have said something about it and have taken action, and then I've had teachers who haven't, and teachers who have taken action, it has stopped, but the teachers that don't, it just never makes that person feel safe in that classroom, and the goal is for everyone to feel safe.
Yeah. And in doing so, like when it's not addressed effectively, I feel like it gives more of a safe space for the people that are like saying hate speech or doing hateful things, rather than the people that are getting hurt by like the words that are used, because obviously they are hurtful. So what would you like recommend for your teachers to do to help you or like stop the situation? Like what protocol do you think that they should follow?
I think they should immediately address the situation when it happens. They need to go to the student and they need to let them know it's not okay. And along with that, they need to send them down to the office, because hate speech, that's a serious thing. That can cause issues in people's mental health. Mm-hmm. Like, that can really affect how a person sees themselves. So I feel like it really needs to be taken seriously, and they really need to, like, take it as serious as it really is.
Okay.
Yeah, like I was part of an organization over the summer where a lot of hate speech was being continuously spewed throughout the entirety of the summer, and it felt as though when we brought it to the adult in charge, they didn't deal with it. And when they did address the situation, they ended it with, was that good enough? And it really felt like I was unseen because I feel as though I shouldn't have to force the teacher to do the right thing. Like, I understand that they aren't directly affected by the term, or the term doesn't really offend them, but I think the fact that it's hurting the students that look up to that teacher and they aren't doing anything about it, that's the part that's really hurtful.
I think it's common that a lot of teachers don't exactly know what to do. So what would make you guys feel most supported in like a scenario like that?
I feel like the thing that will make us feel most supported is definitely taking immediate action, not just letting it marinate over a while. Because some teachers are like, oh, well, if it happens again, let me know. But I feel like we shouldn't be giving it the space to happen again. So I think like detentions, but not just detentions, but with like seminars or something like that about like hate speech and about how it's wrong. Because you could sit in detention and fall asleep and not really want to be there. You could do other work. But I feel like when you're sitting there and having information in front of you, then you're going to want to pay attention.
Exactly. I feel like you should be educated on the backgrounds of who you're causing hate to. Because if you're saying a hate speech to somebody, you're calling them out their name. You're saying an offensive term to them. So it's like you should do your research before you even speak to them.
I agree. Also, I think that, like you said, a lot of teachers don't know what to do in that situation. So I think there should be like meetings like, oh, if this happens, like if hate speech is being like spewed, get on it immediately, take that child aside and tell them it's not okay. And then maybe if it's necessary, send them down, because not knowing what to do is not an excuse, because it's still, the student is still hurting.
So how have you navigated moments of others not feeling belonging in school? With like BSA, like, you know.
Yeah, like me personally, how I've navigated like others not belonging, I've definitely reached out to students that have like felt the same issues that I felt or look like they're going through those issues, because I never want anyone to feel alone, or I feel like as a community, we never want anyone to be by themselves or be hurting alone, because the same pain that someone may feel behind closed doors, a lot of us feel it on our own too. And I think that the issues that we all share together, we shouldn't have to sit there and feel so by ourselves about it. And I think everyone really needs somebody. And I try to help with that and be someone.
Yeah, I agree with that. And like in my class, if I'm in class and I see somebody sitting at a table alone, I always go up to that table and I always talk to them, because you never know when somebody needs somebody. And I always want to be there for people that might need it.
I definitely agree. Like, even just asking students, honestly, and teachers alike, just asking how they are, or just telling them to have a great day. It might not seem like it's something that important, but it could really like make their whole day, make their whole week. When I see, especially like with like incoming freshmen at like lunch and stuff like that, they don't have places to go, I'll always tell them like what's going on. Maybe if we have something going on in the Hawk Nest, or if there's always room at my table, I always make sure to bring them over, because we've all had that feeling of being alone, and you would never wish that upon anybody else.
Yeah. And I think that it's really important that that doesn't end with like only the people at this table. Like, anyone listening, if you see someone alone or like by themselves, you should always go and help them out and make them feel heard, because you never know what other people are going through. And like you said, a smile, a wave, sitting next to them, like bringing them in, encouraging them in like community events, like that can make people feel like a sense of community, and you like never know, that could really affect a person. So yeah. Do you guys have any closing remarks?
One thing I would like to end this off with is just everyone should have a place to feel safe and feel like they belong. And we always try our best to do that, especially with these multicultural clubs that we have. We have clubs for pretty much anything. There's always a place for someone to belong. And if there isn't a place where you belong, I say just make it. Like, I guarantee you're not the only person who has these feelings or has these likes or hobbies, and I promise that you'll have a community that will rally behind you.
Yeah, like as a district, it's really important to express and appreciate and celebrate culture. And the best way we can do that is just come together as a whole.
Yes, and I want to say, like, be mindful. Like, don't just judge somebody because of how they look. Don't just judge somebody because of their race. Get to know them. Everybody is the same. Like, we're all human. We all come from the same place. We all need to learn how to work as a community and work together so we can become a stronger community and continue to help others and become better people.
Yeah. And I think that knowing and like getting like experiencing and having empathy for other people, like you can develop so much more as a person, and like you can just like make other people feel heard. So yeah, I'm so happy that we got to talk with you guys today. I just want to give a special shout out to the content director, creator, and producer of the podcast, Mr. Thomas Butcher. Thank you to our panel, and thank you for listening to our Elevating Voices podcast. Until next time, bye.